Hello and welcome to the FPL Mates Podcast. My name is FPL Mate, and today we've got another episode with quite a nice little guest that I've managed to organise at the very last minute as we start this amazing season. Game Week 1 is done now. We're all really excited about the Premier League, and I'm really excited to introduce a man who has grown significantly in YouTube over the last year, I'd say. I knew him from a show I watched before. And really pleased to introduce James Lawrence Allcott to the pod. Welcome, James.
Thank you, mate. It is quick fire, isn't it? We were on Twitter yesterday, and then I saw myself tagged in. I was like, yeah, of course, man. I owe you. You sorted me out for a video I did recently, so.
I guess so, but my clip for you was like 1 minute long. And you're going to give me like 25 minutes.
True, but yeah, I mean, you've put in the 10,000 hours of FPL. Do you know what I mean? You got to get to that point. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
You got to remember that.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So first of all, James, I just wanted to say congratulations on your recent success because you've blown up like over the last year, right?
Yeah. Yes, I guess so. Yeah, it's been great. It's like lockdown kind of. I guess allowed me maybe a bit more focus on it all. Things started to click and people started to kindly watch. And I think, you probably got the same feeling with your stuff, right? Where you kind of, you're still a bit, you don't really believe the number that you see.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really nice. Yeah. Because I'd had a channel for a couple of years and I've been in the space for a long time. But my own channel had never really totally clicked, but last season it felt like it did, so it's good. So we just trying to kind of march on with that now, really.
I remember seeing your like a little video of when you hit 100,000 subscribers, and like just to see how much it meant to you was like incredible. I think were you with your girlfriend or something?
That's my wife
in the video.
That's my wife.
Is it your wife?
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. No, it's fine. She used to be my girlfriend.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I did put that up, and I don't know. It's funny, isn't it? Because I think things, if it matters to you, then it matters. Because for some people, 100k is a big thing in YouTube generally, and I think, but other people I know, like I play football with a lot of the YouTube guys, and they're all on like 4 million or whatever it is.
Crazy stuff.
Yeah, but I think you'll probably understand. I imagine you're marching towards it yourself, and it'll be a moment for you. But for me, it's sort of I'd been in football media for a long time, like 5 years, I think, at that stage, and I'd thought that my channel had kind of started to wane a little bit, so I thought that day wasn't kind of going to happen. So when I kind of got there, I was just like, it was just a lovely relief. It was good, man.
No, it looked just incredible, just like to see how much it meant to you. Because I know for a fact that like that has also been my dream since like I was a kid to hit 100,000 subscribers. So I really hope that I can get that moment too one day. So yeah, I'm so happy that you managed to do it. Have you got the silver play button? Has that been delivered to you yet?
Yeah. It's over my shoulder. It's just behind me on the right. It's funny though, and I'm sure you'll be like this, and I think a lot of YouTubers will probably be like this, is that you have that evening, like, so it happened in sort of mid-afternoon, which was nice. And you've been striving towards it, and you also kind of get to a point where, because the channel was doing so well, like you're hitting, I had a mad month where I was getting like 15k subs a month, which is just ridiculous.
Wow.
So you're kind of like, this is, unless something terrible comes out about me, I should be all right here. So you can kind of see it coming, and then like 2 days later, you've asked for the silver plaque that you've always wanted in the background of your shot, but you're not really. You're kind of like, okay, right, off we go again, and you're kind of, now I want 150, I want 200, I really want 200 now. So it kind of, it's probably unhealthy and dangerous and all those things, but it's amazing how you do kind of just go again, because I think that is the sort of YouTuber lifestyle that actually I think a lot of other, having worked in, I used to work in telly and obviously working online stuff since, there's a lot of people that I sort of talk to from that old world. They just don't get it, and they still don't respect it, and it's and who knows if they ever will, to be honest, but I always have huge respect for anyone who kind of puts that graft in, and I think is one of those where some people you kind of can't help it, and there's no other option. And so for you, like, you know, I would imagine by this stage you'll definitely get to 100k, mate, because there's no other choice. You're going to keep going because you can't help but keep making great content. So it's one of those.
I just love YouTube. Like, I'm so lucky. Recently, like, gone full time doing YouTube stuff. Literally a couple of weeks ago, and yeah, I'm just buzzing for it. And you know, like, similarly to what you were saying about talking to people about YouTube and how it works, I still cannot, you know, talking to my family about how YouTube works, they still don't understand how it can be a job or how it can, like, how it works. It's like an alien world to them.
I think you have to weird. Like, I used to get really annoyed about it, and then you kind of get to a point where it's like I kind of think like that. You'll see me in the future. You'll get it in, like, it's not for me to like waste energy of you not understanding it now. You'll meet me in the future, because I've seen that before. Like, I saw that before, like, say with football fan media, when I first moved into my old job, that was such a new thing, and everyone completely turned their nose up at it. And I remember thinking, you're going to have to catch up at some point. Or even people that worked in TV, they were like, oh, YouTube. I was like, this is where people are. Like, this is, you're going to have to, and TV is on its arse now. If I can say that, arse.
Yeah, you could say that. It's fine.
So yeah, it's one of those where you kind of just like, people who watch it, so people watching this, you know, if you've got friends who don't get it, like, they will get it at some point. Like, you see it time and time again. So it's one of those, but it's a nice little bubble still that we're all in, I think, though. It's cool.
Yeah, definitely, it's great fun, but yeah, like, I can't wait for everyone to catch up at the same time, because I guess as the people who are in there first, I guess we'd be the beneficiaries of that. But
possibly,
but
I hope. Okay, I'm going to say something, and hopefully the person. I'm going to say his name just because I think it's important. So
go on.
Let's talk FPL, Andy. And Andy, I'm really sorry if you're annoyed by this, but I think you'll get the point I'm getting at. So Andy messaged me the other day. He said, "Oh, I'm going to be chatting to Chris Sutton and someone else. I'm not sure the video's come out yet, so I won't say."
Ben Foster was the.
Did he do it? Right. Okay. That's
he did it.
I'll check that one. And he was like, "Oh, have you got any, any advice? I haven't really done interviews like that." Which is like, that's a really smart thing to do. You know, I'm not saying I'm like the beacon of interviews, but if you know someone and you feel comfortable to ask them advice on things, that's a smart thing to do in itself. But he sent it on voice note, and I voice noted him back going, "Don't you dare think that like Chris Sutton or Ben Foster, and Ben Foster's like a glorious person, by the way, but like, don't think that these two are better than you. Like, no way. Like, we've all done these 10,000 hours. Like, of making YouTube videos, or also being in front of camera. Like, Andy is an unbelievable talker when it comes to football. He is a brilliant pundit. Like, so I was like, on the phone, I was like, don't you dare think that he's like someone special and you're not. Like, that has to be the attitude, I think, for all of us, because like, look, I mean, footballers are our superheroes, sure, but
yeah.
At the same time,
but if you get starstruck, you're gonna kind of mess it up, and it's gonna come across a bit awkward, I guess.
Yeah, and clearly, Andy didn't, and he was brilliant. But like,
yeah, no.
My point was that like, you're a big deal, Andy. Like, I wanted that to kind of sink into him, because like, we've all done the work, and we're all very good, and we should all consider ourselves broadcasters as much as any other word that will then get kind of patronized by other people, And that's Andy. Is Andy the biggest channel in the space when it comes to FPL?
I think he is now. He must be now, yeah.
And he's like, he's a humble guy, so he's never going to turn into, a knob. But he, but he should also like have confidence in himself. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's the same for anyone in YouTube. Like, sometimes people go, "Oh, would you like to interview these people, those people?" And that's, again, these are lovely, wonderful opportunities. But no one should ever be thinking that they're not, not equal to a lot of these people within TV, because it's just not true.
Yeah, that's a really good point. It's a really weird one. I've not really fully got my head around it yet.
Do you know what
I
it is?
still can't even believe I've got like any audience at all, really.
Yeah, it's crazy. It is crazy, and you can't. Have you been noticed much on the street and stuff?
No, not on the street, but I did go to a fantasy football event just this weekend gone, and like I was surprised, like there were people just like coming up to me and saying, you know, like thanks for your stuff over the last year or whatever.
That's lovely, isn't it?
And it was just bizarre because like okay, I'm just a normal person. I'm just here for a drink and to meet and to talk about FPL.
You just don't think it's real, do you? You know, you put out a video and you see some numbers go up. Like it feels like a video game, doesn't it? Well, that's good, man.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah, thanks, man. But anyway, look, I've got a few things I want to talk about today, other than YouTube. But so first of all, I want to talk about FPL Fyi because for those of you watching who don't know, it was the 2019-20 season. The Premier League ran a show on their YouTube channel called FPL Fyi, and it was brilliant. It was so good. I watched it every single week, and it was one of my inspirations for starting up this YouTube channel because I was like, dude, people are making videos about FPL and they're fairly popular and they're really well produced. I want to do that as well. And I looked around. Not a lot of other YouTubers were making FPL content at the time. So but where did that show go? What happened?
So, so for those who don't know, so like the Premier League launched a YouTube channel. And with that, the FPL is obviously a huge jewel in the crown of it, so they wanted to make a show for that. So we all screen tested, like literally everyone in YouTube screen tested for it, and fortunately me and Rambo got it, and I think they probably wanted the double hit with me because they were like, oh, you could produce it, couldn't you? And I was like, yeah, I guess I could.
So you produced it as well.
So I wrote it. So it was I produced it, and then we obviously both hosted it and got a lot of the FPL community involved in it as well. And I mean, I guess the thing that the values that I have when it comes to making content, and it really doesn't matter what it is especially on YouTube, is like, can you make a community? And can you offer value? Like that's it. That's all that matters in my head. And can you do it with a smile? And so that was kind of that's what I pushed forward in terms of what I wanted the show to be. And so that was the idea. We used to have these little sketches at the start, and like we obviously were just like taking the mick out of each other a lot. And I think it did, like, quite quickly. It did make a bit of a community there. I felt. People did seem to like it, really enjoy it. We loved it doing it as well. Sadly, it was COVID. You know, COVID came and sort of just hit it pretty hard. You'll remember, or some people might remember that so basically COVID hit. That show couldn't be done anymore. Football, of course, stopped. Like we almost forget that football did stop for months. I did the quiz. I did the Premier League quiz instead for the summer months, and then we sort of tried to come back sort of when it briefly when it kind of all came back, but by that point I think there's a kind of a bit of a problem with the scheduling because they'd started to put the FPL show on. Is that what it's called? The one with James Gianni's on it a lot, isn't he? And James Richardson.
Yeah.
And I think ultimately, you know, they got to, it's an obvious thing to do, really. It's like, you've got this show that's being made. Why do you need this second one? I
don't know. I always felt like there was one like proper like TV show, and one was like a little bit more casual.
That was
and fun, I guess.
Yeah, younger, right?
Yeah. Which I prefer. 'Cause maybe I am younger, so
yeah. I think
why.
That was exactly what we were trying to do. And yeah, mate, I think I thought it was a good show, but I think it was one of those, you know, if you think about it, when COVID's hitting and, you know, without getting into too much details about money, because I don't know any of the details with the Premier League with money, but, you know, if you can save a lot of money by not doing that show when times are tricky, then it does make sense, is all I'm saying. So that was that, really. Sadly, didn't bring it back. And yeah, I mean, I really loved hosting the show, and doing it with Rambo, and I'd love to do something like that again. I really would. And maybe down the road, you never know. Like that's the thing with all this is, I guess that those shows are going on, they'll carry on. I think it definitely had a place for sure. But you know, decisions get made, right? And you've got this you've got this TV show that you can put on YouTube. It is a much easier way of going about it, you know. So yeah, that's what happened basically.
Oh, fair enough. Well, I mean, I thought I'd take you down a small trip down memory lane, and like from a few little bits you did on the show.
Oh wow.
And we're gonna reproduce them right now on this show. So first of all, have you got an at me when it happens?
Oh wow!
For game week 2.
For game week 2. Okay, hang on. Let me see the fixtures. Game week 2.
Yeah.
Hang on. Let me scroll down. Okay. At me when it happens.
Or is that a bit of a big ask?
No. I can do it.
You reckon you can do it?
Yeah.
So I probably should have prepped you on this one.
It's fine.
But I didn't. I wanted to get some more instantaneous.
I'm gonna go with. I'm going to go with Watford and Brentford to be in the top 6 by the close of play at the end of the game week 2. At me when it happens.
Wow. So they've both got to win, basically, or draw, I guess.
They got a chance. I think people are underestimating the promoted teams a little bit.
Maybe. But we do that every year, right?
True, very true.
All right. Okay. Well, that's a good one. We'll revisit this one. We'll definitely revisit this one and see if you're right. All right, I've got another one for you. Do you fancy having a go at that game that you used to play where you had to where you give 2 players and you had to maybe it's who's the higher price or who had the highest score?
Yeah.
Do you remember that one?
Of course.
Okay, I've got for you, James, in front of me, just 5. We're just going to do 5.
Right.
5 pairs of players, and you've got to tell me who got the higher game week 1 score out of the 2 players.
Oh, high game week score. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Game week 1 score. Right. Your first 2 players are Antonio and Chalobah. Who got the higher game week score?
Antonio missed a penalty. I think that would hurt him, surely. Chalobah, midfielder. Yeah, Chalobah, I think.
Yeah. Chalobah, 14 points. Antonio, 13. Yeah. That clean sheet and goal as a defender is.
Would you bring him in?
Crazy. No, I don't think I'd bring him in. I don't think he's in the squad long enough. He's only a young guy, isn't he? Right.
It's gonna be interesting to see what happens with him if he goes on loan, to a Prem team.
Yeah, that could be interesting, definitely. But fair play for him for taking his chance in the
for sure.
team first game. All right, we've got McAllister or Greenwood.
Oof. McAllister or Greenwood? Oh, McAllister came on, I think. So
he did.
Greenwood.
Oh, you're unfortunately wrong.
What?
Greenwood got 8 points and McAllister got 9 because he scored that winning goal, didn't he?
I knew he scored, but
I think affected the bonus points.
Right.
Getting the winning goal.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay. My logic was good.
Right. Your logic is good, and you got 1 for 1, which is better than some people did on your show.
That's true.
I remember some people having some shockers.
Oh, it was horrible though. We made it. Thing is, we made it. It was like transfers, and it was like point. It would have been 0.1. Bless him. It wasn't fair.
All right, DCL or Pulisic?
DCL. That's gonna be tight. I think I would go with DCL. Did he get the bonus points?
He didn't. He only got 1 bonus point, and Pulisic, because he was a midfielder with the goal, which is 5 points.
Should just lean towards the midfielder, shouldn't I?
You should have used your previous logic on that one.
Dumb. Losing my head.
That was tough. I mean, they're all tough. They're all within 1 point.
Go on, give us another one. Got to
all
redeem
right,
myself.
Sarr or Lloris?
Sarr or Lloris? Oh,
yeah.
These are great. Sarr.
You going Sarr?
Yeah.
It's not.
Oh, God.
It's not. Sarr got 9 points. And I couldn't believe this when I read this. Lloris managed to get 10 points.
How many saves did he make?
I think he only made 3 saves, but he got all 3 bonus points.
He got all 3 bonus points?
Yeah, he got all 3 bonus points in that game.
Fair enough.
Unbelievable. And I've got one more for you.
Okay.
We'll wrap this up. Right. Benrahma or Canos?
That's great. No, Ben Rama I think he got a goal and an assist, surely. So it's got to be Ben Rama.
It is Ben Rama. There you go.
I tell you, I said a year ago when he signed, I said Ben Rama's at some stage he's going to be electric. It's coming. He's going to have a season. I think he's going to have a real season this year.
Oh no, he's went straight in my team. As soon as, I assume you watched some of the pre-season stuff of Ben Rama.
Yeah, so the goal against Brentford,
crazy, absolutely crazy.
I've sort of felt his wrath firsthand as a QPR fan. He used to he destroyed us a couple of times, and I think
what in the Championship.
Yeah, and I think I've got a good what's the word, feel for if a Championship player is going to be good enough for the Prem, because I've kind of I watch both, so you can kind of see the difference. And so someone like Armstrong, I was really toying with him over Tony because he's 6 mil, and because Armstrong he will score goals. He will score goals in the Prem, and Ben Rama's another one of those who maybe needs a second to acclimatise, but he's one of the best Championship players I think I've ever seen. So he's going to have a good season, I think.
Yeah, no, he's such a crazy player, and he's such a joy to watch. He's kind of a player you want to do well because he's enjoyable to watch and therefore enjoyable to own on FPL. And
yeah, good shout.
Yeah, you kind of want to see him succeed a little bit. All right, we are getting on for time a little bit here, so we'll rush through these last two tiny things I want to talk about. Okay. First of all, obviously, James, we did that video on your channel where I provided that little clip for you and chose a player for this mega team. Yeah, made by all content creators. So this was, by the way, guys, go check it out because it was a really good video. Basically, James got a bunch of people involved in FPL to each pick a player each to make a super team for Gameweek 1. Unfortunately, there were a few setbacks in that team. Robertson getting injured, Veltman not playing.
Yeah.
James, do you want to hear what the final score for that team was?
Yeah, because I can't remember if I put that. I think I did. I think I created another account and put it through.
But you did?
I think I did. I'll need to check it after we finish. How did that team do? I think that team didn't do that great because you've got...
All right.
Because I'm just thinking, Tony, Watkins didn't do well. Havertz didn't do well. Omabama Dele didn't do well. Yep. Arnold didn't do much. No, yeah, I think it's had a stinker, right?
It wasn't great.
What was it?
All right, assuming Salah was captain of that team.
Sure.
Which probably would have been.
Yeah.
64 points.
Ouch. So do you know what that proves? That proves that, what's it called? A camel is a horse by committee. So if you have too many opinions, absolutely. it's not a good vibe. So you've got to make your own calls with these things, because there were some in there where I was like, not sure about that.
The big one was missing out Bruno, because no one picked Bruno.
I found that odd. I did find that odd. Yeah, but I guess people were maybe trying to be careful. Because Andy put in Son after I put in Salah, and then who was it? Harry, I think, FPL Tips, put in Ivan Toney, and then after that we were sort of starting to lose a bit of cash. But yeah, I mean, I've been able to get Salah, Fernandes, and Son in, so it can be done. It can be done. Yeah.
I mean, okay, right. Let's have a quick look at your team then. See how you got on. And then we'll wrap this up after that. I promise you, James.
No, mate, don't worry.
Any longer.
All good.
Right, so I've got your team up in front of me, and it'll be on the screen as well. 104 points. You must be pretty gassed about that.
Delighted, yeah. I was kind of like, everyone was... Over the game week, I'll try not to check it too much, because it is generally quite pointless. Maybe on like a Sunday morning. But all the people in my mini league were like starting to like kick off about... having Pinnakin or having these different players.
Oh, yeah.
And I was thinking quietly to myself, I was like, I still think I'm doing pretty well here. And if Antonio hits... And then, so when Antonio missed a penalty, I was like, come on, don't do this to me. Because Danny Ings as well, that was jammy, really, wasn't it? Him getting a return with a penalty.
Oh, yeah, he was in my team to get that 97th minute.
Is that what it was? Yeah.
Penalty goal, shades of Bruno last year.
Exactly. So, yeah, I think the Shimikas is... What's interesting is going to be in a couple of game weeks when Robertson's back is how everyone manoeuvres that, I think. Smith Rowe, I think Arsenal will kind of find their feet again. I think Brentford are being completely slept on, and especially first game at home, it's going to be electric. Like they're gonna be up for it. So Smith Rowe at 5.5. It's funny, isn't it? Are you going to play him or not to utilise that? I don't know, the fact that he's number 10 for Arsenal and starting.
Yeah.
The big thing, my big strategy this year, mate, is midfield. I'm just going to go super juicy in midfield and hope that's enough, because I think
you can kind of see by your team already that is a stacked midfield.
Exactly. And who did I have? I had someone I think I had Harrison instead of Smith Rowe, and then a lesser striker, maybe like a 7 mil striker. I can't remember what it was, but then I was able to kind of sort of crowbar in Son there, and I think I'm quite happy with it. I just think there's so much value in a couple of Arsenal players in terms of White and Smith Rowe, of course, and you've got to be careful with like the noise of clubs. Like Arsenal, as bad as they can be, are still Arsenal, and they'll still be a top half team. Do you know what I mean?
I get what you say. Top half team. I'm an Arsenal fan, by the way, and I refuse to put Arsenal players in my team because I have that little faith in
Really?
us.
I mean, I feel I get it. I mean, and the Brentford game, you got bullied, didn't they? A few of them, but
yeah,
I just thought, if you can get starting centre back guaranteed to play every game for Arsenal for 4.5, that just does feel strong to me.
Yeah, especially Arsenal actually did okay defensively last year as well for the first time in forever. So, yeah, it looked good, and White was in plenty of my drafts as well, but ended up not going for him. Well, I think Tsimikas becoming an option was what made me remove White, because I removed White and put in Tsimikas and just banked them 0.5 for later.
So that's it. That's the problem I'm going to have now, is that when I might need to lose someone like a Greenwood and find someone really cheap. Because my midfield's going to be incredibly weak once Tsimikas isn't playing anymore.
Yeah, I mean, well, you could go down to like a Rafinha or
that's what I think I had.
Like
that's
6.5 or Ben Rama.
Yeah, that's what I had. So that was it. I had Harrison. I was looking at Harrison and Rafinha's, because Harrison's only like 0.5 less, and he does actually get a lot of returns because he takes corners and stuff. So that's where I can make 1.5 and maybe kind of fill it in somewhere else and have a better back line. But it's going to be an interesting season, and of course you got like a couple of weeks in, Kane's going to be playing for someone, and that's going to and Lukaku. Like, are you going to get on Lukaku? It's very tough.
How are we going to KDB? He's going to have to come into all of our teams at some point or another.
It's true. Yeah, there's some real power players.
Get crazy.
Yeah. Would you wildcard really early?
I hope I don't have to, but if need to in like game week 4 or 5, then yeah, why not? Yeah, the worst thing you do is just hold on to it. If you need to wildcard, just wildcard, I think. Yeah,
I think I always have a feeling that everyone's got this new season energy, right? And then when the clocks change and it starts to get dark, then teams get like the season's like European football, all this stuff, like teams getting players injured, and I think that's when between like November and say February, the big teams dominate. That's always been my theory on it. And then when it gets to like sort of mid February and games matter, then it's a free for all. But that period there, I always want like all of those big hitters in there, because I think they'll generally dominate games and win games. So
that's such a good point.
So I think that's I would wait. Yeah, I'm going to try and keep calm, but it's going to be, if Lukaku comes in and scores a hat trick, everyone's going to panic, aren't they?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, there'll be people panicking right now because they have to get Pogba in their teams and Alonso in their teams and Pinnock in their teams.
That's so
but
true.
We'll let them people use their wild cards early if that's what they want to do.
That's it. Look, you got exactly. Make your own decisions. You got to make your own decision.
Right. Well, we've been going for a little while. I think this has been the longest one I've done yet. But James, thank you so much for coming on. This has been an absolutely brilliant episode, and I'm sure people will agree.
My pleasure, mate. Yeah, congratulations on everything you're doing, mate. And yeah, just keep going, mate. Loving your stuff. Yeah,
and to you. And it would be great if we could do like a catch up like later on in the season, see how we're both getting on. Maybe.
Yeah, man. Yeah, of course. Yeah, sounds good. Quality.
Well, guys, make sure you do go check out James if you haven't done already. I'll put his channel link at the top of the video description. He makes excellent, highly produced football content, which I know you're absolutely going to love. If you love football, which you obviously do, otherwise you wouldn't be watching this YouTube video. Also, like this video if you enjoyed what you saw today, subscribe if you're new, and of course, if you have any suggestions of who you'd like to see on the pod next time, again, let me know in those comments, and yeah, we'll see what we can do. Can't make any promises. But there we go, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you again, James, for joining. And yeah, see you later, guys. Bye-bye.